What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. And we are starting off with the story from TMZ. And this is about Home Alone star Devin Ratray, who's been arrested on domestic violence charges after his spat with ex-girlfriend. So he played Buzz McAllister in Home Alone. And the star was booked on domestic violence charges Wednesday after turning himself into the authorities in Oklahoma City. This after a warrant was issued for his arrest, stemming from an alleged altercation with his ex from 2 weeks ago. So Ratray was booked for domestic assault and battery by strangulation, a felony, as well as misdemeanor domestic assault and battery. Ratray was released on a $25,000 bond within 15 minutes after posing for a mugshot. So the alleged victim filed a police report on December 10th, claiming Buzz had gotten violent with her in a hotel room after a night out on the town. She told the cops he punched her in the face, and pressed his hands against her throat and mouth. And there was more disturbing details in the probable cause affidavit obtained by TMZ, which says Ratray allegedly told her, "This is how you die." This is like obviously horrible and deeply disturbing. Thank God she's not dead, but that's a threat and a half, and it looks like he's been charged and he's out on bail. But this is what I don't get. Oh, well, I do get to it to an extent, but I don't think bail for violent crimes is acceptable. I just don't I know how to put things in place and stuff, but I just don't think it's acceptable. You're still a risk, aren't you? You're still a risk. I don't know. That's just me. I feel like for violent stuff, especially when it's like threats like this, according to like the affidavit from TMZ that's alleging this is being said, like it just makes you feel the wrong way about stuff, right? So the girlfriend also told police Ratray was really drunk, downing upwards of a dozen drinks, and then got pissed at her for giving autograph photos of him to fans for free, which is sad. So the cops note that the alleged victim appeared to have multiple injuries from the juiced up, including bruises and marks on the face. So yeah, I think that's meant to say dust up. Oh, that is meant to say dust up. They didn't put a space. Okay, well done TMZ. Fucking hell. Put spaces between words. Jesus. Anyways, that's like the first story of the day, and let's move on to the second. Japan irked at US military's failure to test for the cooties that's going around. So Japan has expressed its annoyance that the US military did not promptly test its service personnel for the virus upon departure and arrival. The situation it blames for a growing cluster outbreak at the US Marine Corps Camp Hansen in Okinawa Prefecture. Foreign Minister Yoshimasa Hayashi said he voiced his concerns December 22 to Ricky Rupp, the commander of US Forces Japan, when they spoke by phone about the US military's failure to take thorough steps to keep the virus at bay. The issue was taken on a heightened importance due to the spread of the new variant of virus and moves by the government to keep the public safe. So here's where it gets down to the nitty gritty, and I can actually understand why the Japanese authorities are pissed. The US military conducts PCR tests on its service members entering Japan within 5 days of their arrival, but not when they are leaving the country, and immediately after arriving in Japan, according to Hayashi. So I'll repeat that again. The US military conducts PCR tests on its service members entering Japan within 5 days of their arrival, but not when they are leaving the country, and not immediately after they arrive in Japan, according to Hayashi. So basically, what he's saying is that because they're not tested immediately, then the proper precautions aren't taking place. There's no, there's no actual trace there, because you don't know when, if they are positive, who's been in contact with them. And also, then that means that the people, it's a delayed response, right? You basically could be up to 5 days late. He also complained that the US personnel were permitted to move freely at on-base facilities, even during the mandatory 14-day self-quarantine period imposed by the Japanese government on new arrivals. So basically what he's saying is that the base itself isn't even following Japanese law that's been implemented. And yeah, I can also understand why he's pissed at that. Japan on November 30th tightened its border control measures against the variant by barring entry to foreign tourists. However, Japanese law does not apply to US military service members under the Japan-US States of Forces Agreement. Now, I have many opinions upon this. One, that stupid of not to test immediately upon landing and not to test for subsequent days afterwards. But also, I feel like, in my opinion, am I wrong in saying this? But maybe Japan just shouldn't have the US Air Force, the US base there anymore. Maybe Japan should say, right, we just don't want the military base here anymore. Can you please just leave and just not have the base there? I guess there's an agreement in place, right? But I don't know the details of the agreement, but I'm presuming it's a long-standing one since post World War II and whatever. Maybe it's time now that the agreement was ended and American troops go back to America, and then there isn't this issue, and Japan can just, have its sovereignty and make the changes it needs to do. That's just me. I feel like that's what's the best solution right here. If there's this conflict between them and the US military isn't required to follow Japanese law and isn't going to follow what the Japanese ministry wants, the ministers want, then maybe just don't have the US military there anymore and just be self-sufficient. That's the way I'd see it. I'm not sure why there's still a base there. I'm presuming, I don't know, I'd have to look into it, and it's not something I care about enough to look into, but that would be where I would be in the opinion. I'd be like, nah, end the agreement, have the base, turned back over to Japan, and all the soldiers and equipment go home, and boom, problem solved. Then there's no longer a conflict. And the final story of the day, CNN. North Carolina police chief placed on unpaid leave for telling officers about a clinic to obtain a vaccination card without getting vaccinated. Oh, this is a weird one. I mean, it's when you hear that, it's already stupid, right? It's already stupid. A North Carolina police chief has been placed on unpaid leave and probation for telling officers about a clinic that would issue them a vaccination card without actually receiving the shot, local officials said. T.J. Smith, the police chief of Oakborough Town, North Carolina, violated policies including fraud, willful acts that endanger the property of others, and serving a conflicting interest when he allegedly told the officers about the scheme, according to a letter addressed to him from town administrator Doug Burgess. The alleged violations stem from a detrimental personal conduct, including notifying law enforcement officers to attend the clinic where they'd be able to obtain proof of vaccination without actually being vaccinated. The letter said, vaccination fraud, accusations, blah blah blah. I'm not reading that part. The one-page letter signed by Burgess and released Tuesday says Smith was ordered to go on unpaid leave for 2 weeks and probation for 6 months beginning December 21st. Smith has the right to appeal, the letter states. The disciplinary measures come after the town hired Blue Chameleon investigators to conduct an independent probe into the matter, and the decision was made based on the findings, Burgess told CNN. Smith, in a statement to the local newspaper, said in part, to make a long story short, in retrospect I made a mistake. Smith told the Stanley News and Press that a friend called and told him about the clinic. After I got off the phone with that friend, I called 2 officers, not in my department, and passed on the information about what was described as a self-vaccination clinic. He says in the portion of the statement, I got 1 phone call, hung up, made 2 others. I didn't sit back and digest the information, remunerate on it, or otherwise give it much thought. I just passed it on. And they reached out for comments, CNN did, but there was no comment. And Jesus Christ, that's your police chief. How stupid is he? Oh God, that's the guy who's meant to be catching criminals. That's the guy that is meant to be catching criminals in Oakborough. Oh God. Yeah. So anyways, guys, like, comment, subscribe, all the things. Let me know what you think about the stories today. Obviously none of them were particularly cheery, and holy crap, that Home Alone one with the star Devin Ratray is very disturbing, to say the least. As always, there's a link to findhelpline.com in the description below if you are being affected by domestic violence in any way or shape or form, please do use that and seek help if you are in distress, if you need assistance. They have links to contacts around the world, whatever country you are in, so you can find help and support. Anyways, guys, peace out, and I'll see you guys in the next one.